Welcome to mini slide program number 2. You are going to place all of your blocks on the outer ring of your mini slide, and we are going to begin by forward lunging. So I would like you to place your left foot without your shoe cover on it on the board, and you're going to start by sliding your right foot toe touching out to your 1 o'clock block. So it's going to look like this. As you hit that 1 o'clock block with your toe, your weight is shifting forward, my front knee is bending, and my back knee is staying nice and straight. So it's going to be a slide out, shift your weight forward, eyes up, chest up, and then slide it back. I'm going to turn to the side just to show you what I want this to look like. So you could start with your heel back against your 6 o'clock block here, as now I'm sliding out to my 1. But if you notice that your heel can't stay down and lifts up off the board, then I need you to move your foot in a little bit more forward. We're looking for motion in the front of this hip, and as soon as your foot comes off the ground, your knee bends and the motion in the front of your hip goes away. So I need you to just keep that heel down on the ground so that when you lean forward and go this direction, that that heel stays down, this hip can come forward, this knee bends, we transfer your weight, and then you slide back. Okay, so back to this position. I'm going to put my left foot on the board about here. I'm sliding out to my 1 o'clock block, transferring my weight, and sliding myself back. Ready? And begin. Out to my 1 o'clock block, slide it forward, and bring it back. Now remember, your foot may be in a different position than mine, and that's okay. To make this exercise a little bit easier, you just bring your foot up a little bit, and so your motion becomes a little smaller. That's okay. As long as I'm getting my heel to stay down, my knee to stay straight, I'm getting motion in the front. And the other thing that I want you to pay attention to is my toe on my stationary foot should always be facing my 12 o'clock block. So what I'm looking for here is for my hip to open up a little bit as I hit that 1 o'clock block. If this foot slides, then I'm still going straight, and I don't want that. I really want to keep my toe pointed towards my 12, open up my hip with that right foot, slide forward, hit that 1 o'clock block, and then drag it on back. Okay, great job. Now, the next one is going straight ahead to my 12 o'clock block. So again, I'm going to reposition my stationary foot to go in a comfortable position to get me to my 12. For me, that's a little too far, so I'm going to sneak that back foot in a little bit. I'm going to slide to my 12. I want all my weight going forward, my front knee bending. My balance is going to be challenged here because my base of support is so narrow. So guess what? That is asking me to control all of my muscles right down top to bottom. So everything stabilizing in my feet, calves, legs, quads, hamstrings, right up through my pelvic floor, and even my core is asked to really be working here to challenge that, to drag my foot back and stand up nice and tall. So again, what I want you to think about is sliding that foot out, the control that happens in that motion on the slide forward, and then if you notice yourself having to pull yourself back by arching your back, again, that means that the distance is too big for you, and you need to just shorten that distance up so that you can really drag that foot back, which is requiring all of these muscles in the front, my core, my hips, and everything to engage and to really work hard to get me back to that starting point. Okay, so now that we've found a great spot for that left foot to be, let's start our 1 minute of exercises, sliding forward to your 12 o'clock block. Okay, everybody, and begin. Slide it out, hit that 12 o'clock block, weight shifting forward, and then drag it on back up. Hit that block, drag it on back up. Great work. Your motion is nice and slow and controlled. It's all about the control here. All of our muscles are working hard to control this motion, both on the way forward and on the way back. So we're getting more bang for our buck using this slide because we're constantly engaged with this slippery surface. which is really forcing us to use all of our muscles here, including our core with every single motion that we do. Sliding forward, sliding it on back, keeping my left foot pointed towards my 12 o'clock block, and just getting a nice bend in the knee, forward, and then back up nice and tall. And great job. Okay, now we're going to do the next exercise, which is harder. It's going crossing your body with this right leg. So I want to plant my left foot into the ground here, and I'm going to cross over my body to hit that 11 o'clock block. Notice as I do that, I am working hard to keep this left foot pointed towards my 12. Okay, again, I don't want to let that foot cheat and turn out, because then I'm just kind of going in the same straight ahead motion. So I really need to plant this foot down. It's okay if you make your foot up on your slide a little bit so that the motion is not quite as big, because we're asking for a lot of hip motion here, which is really crucial to turning on that core and that pelvic floor. And then you're going to slide yourself back up. So again, lots of balance required. Lots of motion required. This may feel a little bit different than something you're used to. You may be getting some stretch even in that right hip as you go around. But now that you've found yourself a good spot, let's go. 1 minute and begin. Slide it across, hit that toe, bring it on back. Nice work. Stand up nice and tall. Keep checking yourself on that left foot to make sure that that toe isn't sneaking out. Right? We really want to cross your body. Your pelvic floor is made up of an amazing group of muscles that attach to your pelvis in all different directions. And so to make sure that we're working all of those muscles and getting them all to really turn on, we need to move that pelvis in all different ways and directions. And as long as we do that, then we're going to get that pelvic floor to turn on and work for us. So we just need to focus on all these different motions, all these different directions that we are going to be sliding to engage all of those muscles. Good job, and exercise complete. Okay, so now we need to do the same thing, but we need to repeat on the other side. So I'm going to have you slip off this right shoe cover and put it on your left foot. If you need to sit down or find a chair to do that, that's great. And then we're going to do those same exercises, but we're going to keep our right foot as our stationary foot and our left leg as our lunging leg. So again, your two different sides may act a little bit differently for you, so it's okay, depending on where you need to put your foot. But I'm going to start by placing my right foot towards the back of my board here, and my left foot is sliding out to my 11 o'clock block. I'm going to bend that knee, and then I'm going to drag it back home. So it's going to look like this, opening up those hips, getting that knee going out this direction, eyes up, chest up, and then drag it on back home. Okay, are you ready? And begin. Left foot out to 11, shifting my weight forward, and then sliding it on back. Great work. Don't forget to breathe. You're controlling that motion both directions. Slide it out, slide it back in. Because you're controlling it in both directions, you're really never getting a break. So I would expect that you may be getting your heart rate up a little bit. That's okay. We just want you to in control of the motion. Slide it out, slide it back. Your body is one big chain reaction. We're just trying to get everything working down the chain and right back up. Trying to get motion in this right hip here. Trying to make sure that all these muscles are working for you, working together, and you are in control of what you want them to do. Great job. Okay, now I'm going to take that left foot, and I'm gonna go towards my 12 o'clock block. So everybody find a spot on the board that is good for that right foot to go. Remember, your base of support just got narrower, so you may need to shorten that stride for you. Remember, you want your back heel to stay on the ground, so I'm gonna just test a couple spots here. That right calf for me might be a little bit tighter, kind of feels like it is today. So I'm gonna shorten my stride, left going forward, lunging, moving my hips forward, and then dragging it on back, knowing that my core is working to help get me back up standing tall. Okay, so everybody's ready to go to your 12 o'clock block, and begin. Slide forward, hit that 12 o'clock block with your toe, and then slide it on back. Great work, really work hard to keep that heel flat on the ground. I'm definitely struggling a little bit with that today. I did a long run yesterday, maybe just tightened up. Everybody's gonna have something different every day, so just be in tune with your body and what it needs you to do on this day for you. Slide it forward, slide it on back. Really working hard to control my heel on the ground there. Feel like I'm getting a stretch in the front of this right hip. Really want my weight shifting forward and then coming back up nice and tall. 3, 2, 1. Okay, great job. And now, again, planting that right foot into the ground, really pushing it down into the ground as I cross my body to that 1 o'clock block where I'm gonna hit with my left toe. Notice the amount of motion that I got going on in my hips here. Definitely working on stretching those glutes for me today on this left side, and making sure that that right foot is just planted into the ground so that my toes are facing that 12 o'clock block. So once you find yourself in a great position and you feel like you can get across to that block, then we will begin. And reach and slide it on back. Now, if you feel like this really isn't good for you and you can't cross that body, that's okay too. You can just get to the right side of that 12 o'clock block. So we just want it to be a little bit different from that last slide. So again, the goal is to get to the middle of my 1 o'clock block, but if you really feel like that's a challenge, then just aim for the right edge of that 12 o'clock block. That works too. I'm still getting across of the body, still working on turning and getting some rotation in that pelvis. Still feeling like I'm getting some stretch in that right hip. Just remember to check yourself, check that toe, lean forward, pull yourself back up tall. Okay, great work. All right, I'm going to leave this left shoe cover on now, and I'm going to forward lunge again, but this time I'm going to turn my body so that the side of my foot is going to hit my 11 o'clock block. So I want to start with my right foot planted into the slide here, somewhere back near my 6 o'clock block. I'm going to slide so that my left foot hits that 11 o'clock block on the side, and again, I want to just transfer my weight forward. I want to keep that, I'm going to move this foot up here because I want to keep that heel flat on the ground. I want to be able to lean in. Again, I'm just looking for motion in this hip here, which is going to require some extra motion over here in this one, and then I'm going to slide back out. So I'm going to hit that with the side of my foot, and then slide back out. Hit it with the side, and slide back out. So when you're ready, we will begin. 1 minute, and go. Slide it out to your 11, and bring it back in. Slide it out, slide it back in. Good. Transfer your weight, keep your heel down. There's a lot of things going on here, a lot to think about. Do it at a pace that works for you. Don't forget to breathe. Hit that block, shift your weight, stand back up tall. Keeping that right knee nice and straight. Your hips are gonna be thanking you later. Hit that block and slide back up. Good, really pushing into the board, giving yourself a little bit of resistance. Slide it out. Back in, great job. 10 more seconds. Nice work. Okay, and rest. Okay, and our last exercise on this side is going to be to take my left foot, and now I want to slide it out and hit the side of my 12 o'clock block. So for me, tight hips here, really tight glutes in the back. I'm going to have to make this motion pretty small. So I'm almost moving up to the halfway point here of my board. I'm going to hit that 12 o'clock block. Again, that's asking for a lot of hip motion for me. And I'm going to slide it on back. So hit that 12 o'clock. Give it what you can. You want to get this hip moving out over your 12 o'clock block. I can't do that and keep my heel on the ground, so I know I can't go that far. So it's just a little bit of a motion and back on up top. But believe me, this is working for you. Even though it's a small little motion, we're getting those hips to turn on. We are getting our glutes to stretch, our hamstrings, and we're engaging that pelvic floor. All right, going forward to our 12 o'clock block. Ready? Begin. If you're more comfortable with your hands on your hips, that works. If you want to let them kind of come down in front of you, that's okay too. Small motion for me, but there's still a lot going on here and a lot of control involved. Definitely working these hamstrings, hips, glutes, hip flexors, adductors. Hit that block. Feel like you can just sink into that motion just a little bit and then come back up, stand up nice and tall. Great work. Okay, great job. 2 to go. So I need you to sit back down, switch your shoe cover. So I'm going to take it off my left and put it back on my right. Okay, so same thing, now working the other side. So I want you to plant your left foot into the board, somewhere back around your 6 o'clock block, because I'm going to slide and hit my 1. And this time I'm going to sink my right hip out this way, trying to get that kind of towards over my 1 o'clock block. Remember, I'm keeping this heel locked in on the ground here, and then back up tall. So let's slide out, hit the side of your foot up against that 1 o'clock block. We're getting a lot of rotation in that pelvis going on here, and then back up top. Okay, and 1 minute, begin. Slide it out, hit that block. Back up tall, slide it out, hit that 1, the side of your foot. This left leg stays nice and straight. Back up tall. Good work. Again, hands on your hips if that works for you for balance. Helps you be in control. Hit that 1 o'clock block. Nice and solid. Slide it back up tall. Keeping that heel on the ground and toe, stationary foot pointed towards your 12. Good work, controlling that motion both out and on the way back, dragging that foot. You want this to be low impact movement. Just challenging your pelvic floor to the point of success. And great job, back up tall. Okay, last one, we're going towards our 12 o'clock block, so I'm going to move my left foot, my stationary foot in a whole bunch. Turn, hit that 12 o'clock block. Yep, lots of hip motion going on here, lots of challenge for me for sure. Hit that 12, lean into it. I'm getting a stretch all over the place. And back up nice and tall. Okay, so remember, it's gonna be out, hit, and then stand back up nice and tall. Ready, and begin. And you may have more flexible hips than I, or longer legs, so if you need to back up that left foot to get a good amount of motion, go right ahead on and back it up, as long as you can keep that left heel planted into the ground. Your form can stay solid so that you're hitting that 12 o'clock block with the whole side of your foot, moving your chest and your weight forward that way, turning on all those hips, getting some extra motion here. Nice work. And great job with program number 2.